Welcome to biology class, dear students. Earlier we were discussing about the population interaction, how the living organisms are interacting with each other for the survival. There are some of the examples for your syllabus. Out of that, we have studied two of the examples of population interactions. One of the example of the population interaction that we have studied in the previous class is predation. I repeat once again the definition of the predation. It is a biological interaction where the organisms that hunting called a predator feeds on the attacked organism termed as prey. In this case, one organism is benefited and the other organism is completely harmed or it is being killed off. That is what the predation says. And the second type of population interaction that we have studied is competition. It is a process in which fitness of one species is significantly lowered in the presence of the another species. Competition is a type of interaction between the two organisms where both the organisms are being harmed. That also we have studied in the previous classes. Taking into examples, we have studied about the competition. And the third type of interaction that we are going to study today is the parasitism. The word parasitism, we are very familiar in your previous classes, first year classes also we have studied some of the parasites. So, parasitism is a type of interaction between the organisms where one organism is benefited and the other organism is harmed. Repeat once again. It is a non-mutual relationship between the organisms of different species when one organism, what we say them as parasite, is benefited at the expense of the other, what we say them as host. So, parasite will get the shelter from the host organism. Host is one which gives shelter to the other organisms. Take for example, human being, head, the lice living over there, ticks living over there, dog, ticks, malarial parasite, mosquito, human liver fluke, like that. Many examples we can give. Elephantiasis, what we commonly called filariasis, filaria worm that is living in the human being. Filaria worm will become parasite and human being will become the host. The lice that is there on my head, I became the host and the lice becomes the parasite. Therefore, the definition in this is many parasites are host specific. They depend upon the host organism. Otherwise, no, they will not survive. They can parasitize only a single host species. They tend to co-evolve, that is, if the host evolves special mechanisms against the parasite has to evolve mechanism to counteract them in order to be successful with the same host species. You can see some of the examples which are given. Cuscata is one example. Parasite wasp larva emerged from a caterpillar is living on the tomato leaves. Cuscata is there. You can see the 1-2 diagram, A and B. It is the leech that is having the sucker which suck the blood from the human being, that is also there. And how do the parasites have been adapted? See, Parasites will not be having highly much developed digestive system or the sense organs. But how they can survive? Some of the adaptations have been undergone in the parasites. One is a loss of sense organ. Presence of adhesive organs or the suckers. You can see in the diagram, the sucker is shown. So with the help of sucker, they cling on to the host organism to get the nutrition. And also these type of organisms will not be having the digestive system because always they will be living on the host organism. Without the host, they cannot survive. Therefore, they do not need any other sense organs also and digestive system also. Directly, whenever they are in need of the food material, take it from the host organism. So, the digestive system will be not there in them. And highly reproductive capacity. These organisms will be having highly reproductive capacity. That's how these organisms have been adapted. When you look at into the some of the examples, human liver fluke, life cycle of parasites are often complex. Human liver fluke, if you take, it depends upon two intermediate hosts. One is a snail and a fish to complete its life cycle. So it passes on to the two host organisms for its life cycle to complete. Another example in the second diagram you can see here. This is the liver fluke, human liver fluke, and these you can see the malarial parasite, what we say them as plasmodium. Malarial parasite needs mosquito to spread to other host organism. And to complete its life cycle, mosquito do need two intermediate. One of the intermediate host is the mosquito, and the second intermediate host is we human being. So, two hosts the malarial parasite needs to complete its life cycle. Parasites harm the host definitely, obviously. The host organism will get harmed. The host organism definitely it will get harmed because of getting the food, getting the shelter from the host organism. Obviously, it is being affected. Therefore, parasitism, you can also say, parasitism is a type of interaction between the two organisms where one organism is benefited and the other organism is being harmed. The host is being harmed and the parasite is getting benefited in this case. Therefore, the parasites harm the host. They may reduce the survival, population density, growth, and reproduction of the host. They may make the host physically weak. You can take filariasis, elephantiasis, anekaloga ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. That worm enters into my body, reaches to the foot and start eating the muscles of the foot. Therefore, bulging of the foot will take place, bulging of the leg will take place, swelling of the leg will take place, and there will be lot of pain to the person who is having the elephantiasis. So, obviously, definitely, the host gets harmed, parasite gets benefited. And more vulnerable to predation. It is more vulnerable to the predation also. Types of parasites. Different types of parasites you can see. Broadly, the types of parasites are being classified broadly into two. One is called the ectoparasite and another one is called endoparasite. So let us see the first one, what is ectoparasite. Ectoparasites are the type of organisms that feed on the extra surface of the host. Ectoparasites are the type of organisms that feed on the external surface of the host. Remember, lice on humans. The lice will suck the food material from the head. Obviously, I get harmed. The lice will get benefited. It extract the food material. And second one, ticks on dogs. You can say ticks on animals, ticks on buffalo, ticks on cows. Ticks on dogs will suck the blood from the dog. Obviously, the dog gets harmed. Ticks gets benefited. In this case, in these two cases, human being is a host, lice is a parasite, dog is a host, tick is a parasite, remember. So, it is the interaction between the host and the parasite in which host is harmed, parasite is getting benefited. That's what the parasite it is. Ectoparasite depends on many marine fishes. Cascata plant on hedge plants. These are living. They get the shelter. Cascata plant on the hedge plant, which will get the nutrition from that plant, hedge plant, and grow over there. In this case, Cascata gets benefited, hedge is being harmed. Cascata has no chlorophyll. You can see the plant itself, which is being shown in the picture, is having yellow color. Presence of chlorophyll pigment, it does not prepare the food, and it is not having the leaves which is responsible for the preparation of food. So this cascata plant will derive the nutrition from the host plant, that is the hedge plant. That's how it will be surviving. Therefore, in such cases, hedge plant is the host, cascata is the parasite. This cascata is not having the chlorophyll, not having the leaves, but even then it lives because it gets the food from it gets the shelter from the hedge plant. Therefore, hedge plant is a host, cascata is a parasite. You can see in the second diagram, human lice. Lice is the parasite, human being is a host which gets the shelter from me, which gets the food from me and survive. Obviously, I get harmed. So, this is one. Female mosquito is not considered a parasite because it needs our blood only for the reproduction. It will not get food from it. Remember, many of us are misconception. The mosquitoes which are biting to us to suck the blood, they will get the food from us. No. Female mosquito that is sucking food, blood from us, it sucks the blood for the reproduction. That we need to remember. Some of the misconception will be there, like camel. Earlier classes we have seen camel. When we are small, 6th, 7th, 8th standard, we used to learn that camel stores the food at its hump. Yes or no? Yeah. But that is actually a wrong conception. The camel that is having hump on its back will store the fat content, and I also told about that. The dissolution of the fat will give the energy required for that animal. You can see roundworms, tapeworm, liver fluke. 3 are there in the diagram. In this diagram, 3 worms are given. One is the roundworm, another one is tapeworm, another one is liver fluke. These are the organisms that are living in the body of the human being. In my body they are there. In my body they are there. These type of organisms, remember, earlier we have studied ectoparasite, human being and lice, ticks and dog, ticks and cow, ticks and buffalo, ticks and ox. That means lice is living on my head, means on the body it is living, externally it is living. But when we take a roundworm, tapeworm, these are the type of organisms which are living inside the body of the living organism, which are living inside the body of the living organism. Therefore, such type of organisms are called endoparasite. Endoparasites are the type of organisms which are living within the body of the living organism. It can be anybody within the body of the living organism. Therefore, they are called endoparasite. Endo means inside, ecto means outside. So, these type of organisms which are living inside the body of the organism, so they are called the endoparasites. Parasite that live inside the host body at different sites. It may be liver, kidney, lungs, RBC, so etc. So on. These are living inside the body. Therefore, they are called the endoparasites. The life cycles of the endoparasites are more complex. As I told, malaria, one example, needs 2 host organisms. Like that, it is very complex. They have simple morphological and anatomical feature and high reproductive potential. As I told, simple morphological and anatomical feature because digestive system is absent. One of the things that we need to know is these organisms do not have sense organs. Digestive system is absent. Other systems also not much highly developed. They are very simple. Even sometimes they are incomplete or even they are absent. Therefore, they are anatomically very simple. Morphologically, they are very simple. But high reproductive rate is there in them. These are called the endoparasite. And a third type of parasite, third concept that we need to know in this parasite is brood parasitism in birds. This is one of the important concept that is being asked in the examination many times. Explain brood parasitism or write a note on brood parasitism with an exam with the help of an example. Explain the brood parasitism. 3 marks question is being asked. Brood parasitism in birds, which we see, is one of the peculiar character of this. Here, the parasitic bird lay eggs in the nest of the host organism and leave it over there. Let the host incubate them. During the course of evolution, eggs of the parasite bird have evolved to resemble the host egg in size, color to reduce the chances of the host bird detecting the foreign eggs and ejecting them from the nest. I will give you best example for that so that you can understand very easily. Brood parasitism between the cuckoo and crow. This cuckoo cannot build up its nest, whereas crow can build up nest and take care of its babies, take care of its eggs, but cuckoo not. It lays eggs on the ground, therefore it is those eggs are being eaten by the predators. So it will get afraid of the predators. What plan it will do? The cuckoo will make a plan to lay the eggs in the crow's nest, because crow's eggs and cuckoo's eggs resemble in size, shape, color. Same size is there. Therefore, this cuckoo lays the eggs in the crow's nest and go off. So the crow will think it is its eggs. They are its eggs and start incubating, start hatching. Once when the babies comes out of the eggs after hatching, slowly as the days passes off, the color of the cuckoo and crow changes. Then the mother will identify. By that time the babies of the cuckoos will be ready to fly. They go away. So until they are grown up, they are developed, the crow will take care of these cuckoos babies also. They bring the food material. These crows will bring the food material, give to these, and they grow up. As they grow up, slowly the color starts changing. At the beginning, the color will be same. Crows and the cocoons babies also. So as they develop, by that time their wings will be developed. They will be able to fly, and the crow will identify, oh, these are not my babies, because the color is not same like me. Then it will start pulling out of the nest of the crow. So the cocoons, babies of the cuckoos will start flying, start moving independently, because by that time they have developed to starts living their own independently. So they move up. This is one of the example of brood parasitism. Some of the another type, fourth type of interaction, population interaction that we study is the commensalism. Commensalism is one of the type of interaction where it is a type of interaction between the two organisms where one organism is benefited and the other organism is neither benefited nor harmed. You must remember, the other organism is neither benefited nor harmed. So in this case, some of the examples I will give you. Orchid growing as epiphyte on mango branches. Orchid growing as a epiphyte on mango branches. Here, orchid gets benefited from that, and mango tree is neither benefited nor harmed. So this is one of the example of the commensalism. Barnacles on the whale. The barnacle that are living on the whale. Whale is a very big animal. It will not be knowing that barnacles are there on its body. Orchid, mango will not be knowing orchid is there on its body. That means they will not feel any weight. They are very, very, very small compared to the host organism. So here another example, egret and cattle. See, just cattle will be grazing in the field. At the same time, these egret will come over there. As the cattle grazing the grass, some of the organisms that are there inside the grass will fly out. These egret will be waiting for that to come out of the earth. These egrets will catch up those organisms and eat. Here, the cattle eating the grass by its own. At the same time, some of the organisms are moving away. So these egrets will catch up. That means, take the example of egret and cattle. Here, by eating the grass by the cattle, and the organisms moving away from that, the egret will catch up and eat. So in that case, cattle will not get any benefit or will not get harmed from the egret, but at the same time, egret will get benefited from that. Another example, sea anemone and clownfish. Sea anemone and clownfish is another best example of the commensalism. Another example of the commensalism is a suckerfish and shark. What do this shark will do? Shark is a very huge animal. While eating the food material, suckerfishes are very small fishes. And once when the shark catch up the food material, starts eating, they just come near to the mouth. The splitting food material is being eaten by the suckerfish from the shark. So sometimes when the suckerfish tries to move from far off places, they will come and sit on the shark. Shark will not be knowing. Even if hundreds of suckerfish sit on the back of the shark, it will not feel at all. Just as the shark is moving, along with that, suckerfishes also move. In such cases, shark is neither benefited nor harmed, but at the same time, the suckerfish has got benefited from that. Such type of relationships are called commensalism. And there are two more relationships that we are going to study, and those two relationships we'll study in the next class. Thank you. So today we have studied about these two organisms.